welcome to Recipes Galore. We are going to start with our flour. We have a buttermilk biscuit. For those of you who were watching when I made the buttermilk biscuits, that's the basic recipe that we are going to take. We're going to make the basic recipe and then we're going to add to it. Now I have in my my bowl 5 cups of flour, and we're going to do our yeast first because we need it to rise up and become active. And we're going to take some of our sugar that we're going to use, and we're just going to put a pinch off into here. Well, maybe a couple of pinches. We're going to stir it up. Now this is warm water. You don't want your water too hot. You want it nice and warm so that it will activate your yeast. But you don't want it too hot or else it will kill your yeast. And that we don't want because we want our recipe to come out just right. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of yeast. You can see my yeast. That's about 2 packets. If you get the little packets, it's 2 packets. But I have the big one because I use a lot of yeast. So that's 2 tablespoons of yeast into 1/2 cup of warm water. Put the sugar in there first and dissolve the sugar. The sugar helps to activate the yeast. Now we're going to stir it up real good. Make sure it's all dissolved. And I put it in this glass, and I'm going to put it right here beside me so you can watch it rise. That'll tell us whether we need to get some more yeast, start over, or the water was just way too hot. But I think I got it at the right temperature. Okay. Now, while we're waiting on that, to rise, we're going to get the rest of our ingredients together. I'm going to we need 1 cup of shortening. I like these from Crisco because they come in exactly 1 cup and I don't have to measure it out. It's a little more expensive than if you bought the barrel, but this is precisely what I need, so it works for me. Now, we need 1 cup of shortening. This is the butter flavor shortening because I like mine butter tasting. But you can buy the regular if you like. 3/4 cups of sugar. And we're going to need 2 cups of buttermilk. Right here. Grab my cup. Now, hold on. Let me move that right here so you can see it. We're going to add 2 cups of buttermilk, and we're going to add that slowly to our mixture. And we need about a teaspoon of salt. I like using my salt grinder. Now, I need my pastry. Hold on, let me get it. I thought I had it over here. That's wrong. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to start by mixing my salt, my sugar, and my shortening together with my flour. Now again, if I didn't mention it, it's 5 cups of flour. This pastry tool, love it, love it, love it. Makes life so convenient when I'm making breads. Our yeast is coming together. See it? It's starting to rise. See that foam? That foam right there lets me know that my yeast is yet alive. So I'm going to continue mixing this while I wait on my yeast to rise, because we're going to add the buttermilk and the yeast at the same time in small increments. Yeah. Hello, Rhonda and Emily and Latricia. How are you? Thanks for joining me today for another edition of Recipes Galore. Now, what we're making today is some orange cranberry scones, and we're making some cinnamon rolls. And this is all from a buttermilk biscuit recipe. I took a poll yesterday and asked, should I do this? And I got a majority of everybody who responded said, yes, yes, please do it. I even got some free taste testers that volunteered to come and taste it for me. So we're gonna get this done. And my yeast is just about ready. And so am I. Here we go. There we go. All ready to go. Now let me put this in the sink and soak it so it won't get, the stuff won't get stuck on there. And we'll move on to the next part of our recipe. Look, our yeast is ready. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a little hole in here, and I'm gonna pour my buttermilk first. And then I'm gonna pour some of my yeast in there. And then I'm going to add some vanilla. Now, I make my own vanilla extract. It's made from vanilla beans and vodka. It's not any fancy vodka, it's just plain vodka. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of vanilla, because we're not making biscuits, we're making scones and cinnamon rolls. So, in my opinion, since we're experimenting in the kitchen, vanilla is going to be right for this recipe. And that's what experimenting is all about. You put what you think is going to taste yummy in your recipe. Now, I'm going to get this started with my spatula, and as it thickens up, I'm going to switch tools. All right, and it has already thickened up, so let me switch my tools. I have another little pastry tool. You scrape it on the, work your dough on this side, and it's a cutter on this side. So we're going to use both sides of this today. Now, let me add the rest of my yeast. Get all of that foam out of there. All of it's good. Yes, Micah, I will give you the recipe for the vanilla extract. As a matter of fact, next week I planned on coming and doing a Recipes Galore on making extract. But all it is, hold on, let me pour this in here before I forget what I'm doing. There we go. Got that in there. All it is vodka, and I filled it up with vodka to about, well, I put the vanilla beans in here first, and it's about, let me show you, it's about 25 to 30 beans in there. me see. Do I have a... Let's see if I can take this out of here and show you. This is a whole vanilla bean. Now, the one with the vodka, I left the beans whole. I also made some with bourbon, and I cut the beans in 3 sections because I wanted the actual bean inside of the extract. The beans are closed, so it's infused. The vodka is infused with the vanilla bean. Whereas the one I did with the bourbon, the vanilla bean is actually in the extract, which gives it a stronger flavor. But I just set this, and see, I have a date. This has been sitting in this jar since December the 18th, 2019. Now, some good vanilla extract sits for like 3 or 4 months before I use it. So I just started using this with my cooking, and I have another one in the cabinet waiting that I just made about a month ago. So by the time I finish with this one, that one will be ready to go. So I always have one going while I'm using another. So I always have some on hand. Now, I got my vanilla beans from Amazon.com. I buy it by the bulk. They cost about, I think it's like $37 for the extract. But when you think about it, you get a little 4 ounce. This is a 30, I want to say a 32 ounce jar. But that little bottle of vanilla extract is like 2 ounces that you're paying like $11 for. You got about 7, 8, 9 of these. So compare $30-something to about $80-something, which is the better bargain for you. You just have to wait. Now, back to our recipe. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to scrape my dough, get it all nice and yummy going on. And yes, this is messy. It does get on your fingers. So if you're not one for getting messy, use the spatula. But either way, whether now or later, it's going to get a little messy because you're going to have to knead the dough once we're done. Now this recipe, you don't have to knead it much, but you are going to have to knead the dough. So it's coming together. Okay, just a second. I almost tipped over my buttermilk and the lid is not on. It'll be just my luck. There we go. Now we are ready to roll. Oh my goodness, my shortening came out. Chop that up in there. Make sure you scrape down at the bottom of the bowl because it's not completely together. Now this is going to work the muscles in your hands. I'm feeling it. But if I predict right, this is going to taste so yummy when I get done. Now, I have so many things on this counter in front of me. My overflow supplies are over there, so I'm going to have to go over there and get my extra flour. So when I pour this out onto the surface, I'm going to split it in half, and half of it is going to be scones, and the other half is going to be my cinnamon rolls. You all just don't understand how excited I am. I love experimenting in my kitchen. And to get to experiment with you all, I usually do this. I don't do this on camera. So this is a first. I usually experiment first and then bring it to you all. So this is a first. So just bear with me. Let me grab my flour. And put some flour on my surface so that I can pour this out. And we can get busy making our scones and rolls. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle this across here because that dough is sticky. Now, I'll plop this right here. Yeah. You're going to end up adding a little bit more flour because I forgot to deduct the half a cup from my buttermilk that I used in for my yeast. So we're just gonna grab a little bit more flour and put it on top. And before you do this, if you have any rings on, take them off, take them off, take them off, because you're getting ready to get down right and dirty. Here we go. Y'all ready? Now, let's knead our dough. Make sure you keep plenty of flour on your surface so we can knead this very quick. And it's coming together. There we go. Now we're cooking with oil. Let me grab a little bit more flour. Put it right there in my little spot. Okay. Now I'm going to split this in half. And half of this is going to end up being, use my little tool, cut that there, cut it there, cut it there. Okay, I'm going to set this aside because this part is my cinnamon roll and this part is my scones. So, if I predict right, we're going to get this right. Now, I have some orange zest. This is the zest of about 3 oranges. So I'm just going to put this right here on top. And we're just going to knead that into the dough. I think that should be enough to zest that up. And I have some craisins. Now, pour some of those out on there. Depends on how many craisins, how much you like. As to, now, let me grab my flour and back this up so you can see what I'm doing. Because I don't think this part is on camera. All right. I'm going to fold this over and fold that over and fold that this way, fold that way. Hold it in my hand. Let's spread the flour out. Y'all ready? Here we go. All right. We're going to knead our cranberries and our orange into the dough. Grab some more flour on my hands. Now, as I said, I'm experimenting with this. This is my first time doing this. But so far, so good. So if it works, y'all can try it at home too. This is going to test my mettle to see if my experiment is going to work or not. And this dough is sticky. Make sure you keep plenty of flour, even if you have to keep adding flour to your surface. Make sure you keep adding it. Make sure I get all this spread out evenly. Because right now I think it's all stuck in one area. Let me flip this over in my flour. Keep folding it in and pressing it out, folding it in and pressing it out. Folding it in. I think we pretty much got it covered. Look at that lovely bowl. All those cranberries in there. Now I'm going to add some flour to the surface, and we're going to roll it out, and then we're going to cut them. Now, I don't know about you, but I like a little sweetness to my, if I'm going to eat a breakfast treat, I like a little sweetness. And if you were with me on Monday, I'm going to use the same recipe for the cream cheese drizzle that I did for the cinnamon roll pancakes. I'm going to make that same drizzle to go on my scones and my cinnamon rolls. So when they come out of the oven, it's going to be yummy. All right, now we're ready to roll this out. Put some flour on your rolling pin, put a little flour on top, and let's roll. Let's rock and roll. Oh, look at that. Oh, that looks so good and so yummy. Now, we're going to use a biscuit cutter to cut this. We're going to start from the outside and work our way in. Some of you know and some of you don't know. I used to be the biscuit maker back in high school and college. I used to be the biscuit maker at McDonald's. So I learned how to cut biscuits. I've been making biscuits for a long, long time. But theirs came in a pre-made package. It wasn't like this. It was a pre-made package. This, I have my biscuit cutter right there. Okay. So, always put flour your cutter. I think I'm gonna use the fancy side. Since I'm making scones instead of biscuits, I'm gonna use the fancy side, excuse me. And I'm gonna place them on a parchment paper lined tray so that when I put them in the oven, they won't burn on the bottom. My oven cooks fast, and if you have an oven that cooks fast, it just keeps it from browning too fast on the bottom. So we're going to cut these out. Start from the edge. Oh, look at the little ridges around the sides. We're going to cut these out, and then we're going to get started on our cinnamon rolls. Now, I don't know about you all, but this recipe seems to be working for me. Taking one recipe, so far so good. Now, a little trick to this, if you want higher our taller scones and cinnamon rolls. Because we use yeast in this, if you let it sit out for about an hour or so, it will rise, and then you put it in the oven. It's going to be yummy, yummy. I promise, I promise. These are coming out great. All right. Here we go. Now, if you all have any questions, please be sure to put them in the comments. If you have any suggestions as to what I'm doing, put those in the comments too. This, okay, we're almost done. We have about 5 more that we're gonna make. Because I'm running out of room on my tray, guys. I thought that it wouldn't fill up the tray. But look, I've run out of room on my tray. Now you don't want to place these too close together on your tray. It's not like biscuits where they, you know, tear apart. These are individual. These are individuals. So you want to put them, separate them a little bit. So when they bake, they rise up as individuals. Okay, let me see if I can get another one out of there. Okay. Now, I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll come back to it later. For the sake of time, we need to get busy on our cinnamon rolls. Now, let me grab some more flour over here. Push some of that to the side. Now, for the other half of our dough, we're just going to kind of knead it a little bit. And we're going to roll this one out flat. Now, I'm going to try to keep it in a straight line. So when it rolls, when I get ready to roll it over into the roll, it won't be so thick on one end and thin on the other. Now what we're going to need for this cinnamon roll is you're going to need some brown sugar. And because I am experimenting, no, I cannot tell you how much brown sugar. I make my own brown sugar. So I just made a small batch of brown sugar this morning. Many of you know this about me, that I make my own brown sugar. And just so these won't be too thick, I'm going to cut this in half and create 2 separate rolls. There we go. Roll it thin. Now, in my bowl, I have some brown sugar and ground cinnamon mixed together. Now, I like nuts on my cinnamon roll, so I also chopped up some pecans in my bowl to spread across there. But before we do that, I'm going to get some room temperature butter. It's just softened, and I'm going to spread it across my cinnamon roll so that the brown sugar will stick and the cinnamon will stick. Now you don't want to put a whole lot on there, or else it's going to seep through the bottom, and then you're going to have burnt up cinnamon rolls on the bottom, and the top will still be raw. So this is my theory for making other cinnamon rolls. So I'm just going to put a light coating of butter on there, all over. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way. And we're going to cook these. When we get ready to cook them, I like cooking mine on low heat because it allows the dough to rise better than cooking them fast, than rising fast. I'm going to cook these on low heat. And what I am going to do is let my cinnamon rolls sit out and rise on the counter before I put them in the oven, because I like a good fluff to my cinnamon rolls. Now I'm going to take the sugar and I'm going to just sprinkle it across there, just like so. Again, this is cinnamon and sugar in here. I put about 2 teaspoons of fresh ground cinnamon. I like the cinnamon sticks because it has a stronger flavor than when you sprinkle that out of the little shaker bottle. It has a stronger flavor. So I'm going to sprinkle this brown sugar and just kind of use my hand and spread it a little bit. Make sure the surface is covered. Man, this smells so yummy. Again, smell button. This is going to be a real treat. And you know what? This recipe is so easy. If you want to do this with your kids one day, you can do that. Teach them about measurement, teach them about math, teach about an experiment in the kitchen. It's a science project because we don't know what's going to happen. So you can, I know that I learned how to cook when I was 7, 8, 9. I made my first cake by myself at 9 years old. My mom left me in the kitchen and let me go for it because I had been helping her for years, since I was like 4 or 5 years old. So by the time I got to be 9 years old, I won't say I was junior chef, you know, the junior master chef show that they have on now. I won't say that I was that good. But I will say that I could give them a run for their money on desserts. I love making desserts because I love sweets. Now, we're going to sprinkle our chopped pecans on here. And then I'm going to cut it and roll. This is going to be some good eating, y'all. I promise. And I will be sure to post the results in the comments when they come out of the oven. I will show you how I'm going to put the glaze on top of them. It's going to be a cream cheese glaze, and I'm going to use my bourbon vanilla extract because I use bourbon and I use vodka. I use the vodka in the base, and I'll use the bourbon, which gives it a totally different flavor, in the drizzle that goes on top. Okay, now I'm going to use this end of my cutter, and I'm going to cut it up the middle, just like so. Now we're going to take this in and we're going to start rolling and see what we come up with. Wait a minute, I didn't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way because that's going to be very thick, and I don't want it that thick. Now this is going to take some time and patience, but you can do this. I know you can. Now that I got it started, I can just kind of roll it along. go. We have one side rolled. And put a little. Now, before you put these in the oven, you're going to take an egg wash, which is a scrambled egg. You're going to take it and add a little bit of, about a teaspoon of milk to that one scrambled egg, and you can just brush it on across the top, and it'll come out with this nice glazy look to it. Yum! Okay, now make sure you close your cinnamon roll so all your yumminess won't escape. That's what I'm doing now, is closing it. Now, ready to cut. Y'all ready? Okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to turn my cinnamon roll up. That's the end. I'm going to turn it up this way, put it on my tray. I think I'm cutting these about an inch. See that? All that yummy goodness in there. Put it on my tray. I don't want them too thin, and I don't want them too thick. Now, I'm going to finish putting this on my tray. Let it rise and put it in the oven. And we'll see if our, what do they say in science? Our hypothesis is matches what we think is going to happen, our results. And Sherry, I am making some cranberry orange scones and some cinnamon rolls with pecans, or pecans, as most of the northerners say. It's pecans, not pecans. In the South, we say pecans. So, there we go. Now, you can find this recipe, or should I say these recipes, and some other yummy recipes on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/AskTheNanny. Yes, Emily, I just walked through the whole recipe. Yes, I share the recipe. I just walked through the whole recipe, what you need, and how to put it in there, some tips along the way. So if you watch the video, you'll find out the tips, you'll find out the ingredients, you'll find out how to make it, the tools that I use to make this. I just got my new surface in because my other one was getting too small because I was making big breads. But yeah, we're making cinnamon rolls today. We took a regular biscuit recipe and we're experimenting to see if the biscuit recipe will make some yummy cinnamon rolls and make some orange and cranberry scones. And once I get done, once it comes out of the oven, I'm going to use the same icing or drizzle to go over it that I used on Monday. If you were with me Monday, I'm going to use the same drizzle that I used on Monday on the cinnamon roll pancakes. I'm going to use that on the cinnamon rolls and on the scones because I think it will taste good on both of them. So, now, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. And again, you can find this recipe and other yummy recipes on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/AskTheNanny. I will be back in the comments with the results of our experimenting in the kitchen today. So stay tuned. I will be back in the comments. So just check back in the comments to see. I'm rolling this. That's why I'm talking slowly, because I'm trying to concentrate on not messing this one up. But I'll be back in the comments and give you the results and see how it turned out. And you're welcome, Emily. Oh, thank you, Mindy. Mindy says I could watch you all day. Well, I sure appreciate it. And if you want to watch me all day, head on over to the YouTube channel. And while you all are there, please subscribe to the channel. And you'll never miss a meal. All right. You all have a great afternoon. I'm going to go finish getting these sweet treats together.